Lord. Well, what's good, y'all? We back at it again. This is another episode of Not Another Podcast. Yet again. So, this week's topic, we are talking about love. And the title of this episode is called What Love's Got to Do with It. Oh, let me turn my notifications off. Thank you very much. My fault. I apologize. But it's called What's Love Got to Do with It? That's the topic of this week's discussion.
It sounds like a little series or something. Like,
I mean, hey, we can make it one. You know what I'm saying?
It all depends on how long it takes.
I mean, yeah.
And how much we...
For sure. How
much we talk about it.
Facts, man. So, the reason how this topic came about, I don't even know. Like, honestly, this is one of the episodes that I did want to make, was going to be called How Women's Equality Killed Marriage. And then people were like,
I never agreed to that public service announcement. I never agreed to that.
How women's equality killed marriage. But of course that came off a little bit, you know.
I feel like there's a hit and miss with that when it comes to that. Like it's
I mean,
we could briefly discuss it before we bring it in.
Right.
Because I feel like me as like, I'm not married, but
yeah.
Just seeing this generation, and let's just say comparing it to the generation like our parents or our grandparents, you kind of see more things change, you know.
I mean,
women are more out in the business world, more entrepreneurs.
Yeah. They got more opportunities.
More opportunities, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And more willing to make money for themselves.
Right.
So, when it comes to that, and then, like, I don't know, it's like our ego is up here now as well. So we look at it, it's like we don't really need a man. You there.
But do you, though?
That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, you do, because, of course, like,
you do.
You do need a man. But the women now look at it as like, I want you, but I don't need you. I feel like more back then, and especially more in the Bible times.
Exactly.
It was more, I need you.
Exactly. And I think that's the reason why a lot of marriages are failing, to be honest with you. Because a lot of women feel like they don't need men anymore. And a lot of men aren't being men anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, not for nothing.
Both sides. It's true.
Yeah. So, you know.
That's true, because with men, I feel like with women, we're more of like, I don't need you, I want you. But with men, it's like, but are you willing to provide? Are you willing to step up the way you have to? Like,
yeah.
Are you willing
exactly? Like women want you to have a 4.0 GPA, but also be a gangster, but be a pastor, but also did 25 to life, but then also like be modest and give to the community. But you gotta earn $100 million a year. But then you also gotta give her all your money. But then you also can't be no sucker. But then you also gotta like. You gotta be an entrepreneur and you gotta be a hustler and work 7 days a week, but you better give her 7 days a week of your time, and you better make sure that you doing, like, come on, bro, like, stop it, shorty, like, you doing too much. Like, do you want a hustler? Or do
y'all want a wife that cooks, cleans, still works, takes care of the kids, still doing sexy time with you 7 days a week, got you. I don't know, you want her dressing up like this and making breakfast doing this and running around doing sports with the kids, but she's also got a 9 to 5 and she also got her own business. So it's two sides to the story, honestly. Like, I
guess.
Let's be honest.
I guess, you know, like, man.
And a lot of it has to do, not for nothing. Shout out to Vic, because if I say not for nothing, we're gonna count.
You're gonna have to speak into the mic.
Oh, wait, you can't hear me?
I can hear you, but you over there in the bleachers. Like
yeah, it does sound kind of like far away. Maybe if you could bring it up a notch.
All right, I got you.
Bring me up a notch.
I got you, coach.
All right, there we go.
All right.
Put me in, coach.
I'm dead.
But yeah, what I was trying to say was, wow, you made me lose my train of thought. That's crazy.
Because it wasn't important.
Yeah,
what
it definitely was.
Mentira? Yeah, la mentira. It was a lie.
It was a lie.
What is it? Fue mentira?
Fue una mentira.
Yeah, facts. My grandmother was Spanish, by the way.
But didn't you
She was
say
Puerto Rican.
Didn't you say she was like?
But she was that too. Whatever you about to say, she was that too. She was.
Listen, shout out to Derek's grandmother because she was a multi-race woman. Like she was Black, African, Jamaican,
all of that.
Spanish, Cuban, Haitian. Yeah, she was Dominican. She was Puerto Rican.
My grandmother did it all, baby.
Listen, shout out to your grandma.
Shout out to my grandmother. I love my grandmother to death. I was just talking about it yesterday, but we're not gonna get into that though. I love my grandmother to death, bro.
Hey, it's part of love.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so mad because I really felt like I was gonna say something good and you just cut me off.
It wasn't. Yeah, it'll come back to you. So my question though, like, let's get into it, man. So what's love got to do with it, right? So when you're thinking about a relationship or you're thinking about a partner, and you know when you're dating somebody, how important is love for you?
At the beginning, are we talking? All right, here's my question though.
Okay.
Like, I need you to be specific on the time frame. Is this like at the very beginning where we're just like going on a few dates, getting to know each other, kind of? Yeah. Like that stage?
Nah. Okay, so more importantly, in the thick of your relationship, like how important to you is love as far as
we in a relationship now. Yeah. Like we committed.
I mean, you're not gonna love somebody that you're not in a relationship with, right?
That's what I'm asking because like you don't immediately fall in love. Like I mean, some people do. Like no, that's what I'm saying. Some people could. I can't. It takes time, obviously, and I feel like for everybody, it should take time. For you to jump into like really saying you love somebody, like you gotta be swept off your feet.
Hey man.
Why are they all green? I just gotta ask that.
I don't know. Dang, the recording stopped.
Yeah.
But it's still going. Wait, no, it's not going now. It's recording. They're all green now?
Yeah.
It's recording.
That's dope. I don't know. We're just testing out new cameras, guys. So excuse us if we miss. These are gonna be bloopers. I don't know what you want to call them, but they still gonna be in the video. But yeah,
it's recording.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, because in the beginning, you kind of don't really focus on love as much. You kind of focus on all the other things.
Or should we stop? Should we stop and then start a new recording?
Nah, we just
because when I hit this, it says stop recording, so that means it's still recording.
Yeah, so
that's what I think. Then. All right.
Hey, listen. We apologize, but this is what happens in the process, especially when you're where's Nan when we need her?
Yeah, facts.
Where's our producer?
It's all good though.
She'll be back. But yeah, so I would say like in the thick of it, to me, like love is very important.
Okay.
In a sense, like the way I look at it in a female's perspective, and me being very like a very emotional person. Like love is an action. Mm-hmm. So you don't just say you love somebody, but like you do it with everything that you do.
Yeah.
So it's like people are always like trying to jump to, especially like when we talked about this this topic that we were gonna do. Like I told myself, you know, from now on, like whatever podcast that we're gonna do, like I kind of want to like meditate on it, you know, just kind of marinate, so I'm not coming on here and just speaking whatever comes to mind. So as I was like doing like research, a lot of like I wasn't just focusing on a Christian perspective. Like I made it a general perspective on like how, especially like people our age, millennials, you know, Gen Z, like what do they look at when it comes to love?
Yeah.
And the first thing that kept popping up repeatedly was, you know, like, well, I looked at how important love was. Uh-huh. And everybody was saying like how unimportant it was and how more important trust was.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, like I can see that perspective in the trust.
I can't.
You know, but let me get there.
Word.
I can see what you mean by that, but I think that love still surpasses that. And the reason I say that it's because love being an action and not just a word that you just throw out there because of your feelings and your emotions, but it's like those actions, that's where the trust comes from. It loyalty, the respect, you know, even like the verse in the Bible where like you're not boastful, all of those things, those are all action words that basically come from love. So because I love you, I can trust you. Because I love you, I can respect you. Like, that's how I look at it. But not a lot of people will look at it that way, because they can say, I love you, but I could still cross you. I could still be unloyal.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But do you really love somebody if you could cross them and be unloyal?
That's what I'm saying, too. Because it's like, dude, do you really love me if I can't trust... Like, if I can't trust you, I can't really sit here and say I love you. Like, I could like you. I could like you, but, like, if I don't trust you, like, I'm not going to sit here. I don't, if I'm dating you and I don't trust you, I can't sit here and say I love you enough to spend the rest of my life with you. I could care about you. I can, like you a lot, but to love you, like, you always, as a female, like, you always have, thoughts in your mind, or like the enemy will put stuff in your head, but that should never contradict how much you love a person. Yeah. So it's like, it's not going to be perfect, but do I love you enough that even on the days that we argue, or the days that things aren't going so well, that you wouldn't cross me, or that you wouldn't do something, while you're out in the streets or whatever the case is, or, a shorty all of a sudden shows up and me and you are arguing. Like, do I trust you enough to, like, to be outside even if we're not on good terms? Like, that's where, like, the trust part of it comes into play. So it's like... Okay. I have to truly mean when I say that I love someone, because I feel like when people use the word love, like, they just throw it out there. It's just, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's an easy word, but, like, when you're looking at it in an action, it becomes more important than the trust and the loyalty, because I feel like with love, that's where all of that roots from. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like,
I get what you're trying to. I get what you are saying. It's not that you didn't try to say it, you said it. I just think as far as, like, okay, scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank love as far as, like, how important it is in a relationship?
Like a 9.
Like a 9?
Mm-hmm. It's very important to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like that now, because I'm learning to understand love more, biblically speaking. Mm-hmm. So it's like, when I look at the way God loves us, when I look at the way we should love ourselves, it's like, it becomes very important how much love I have for the person that I'm dating, or in a relationship with, or or I'm married to. Yeah.
So, like, let's say in picking a life partner, like, is that your forefront? Is love, like, when you, okay, so here's what I'm trying to say. You said your spill. All right, I'm gonna put my little perspective on it. For me, love is the foundation of your relationship, but also in the Bible, it does say that God is love. So the same way how love should be the foundation, God should ultimately be the foundation. That's facts. That's facts.
Yes, it is.
God should be the foundation, but God is love. So when we talk about loving each other, we want to go back to the biblical version of love, and not just the movie love, or the the romance novel love, and the butterflies and the sparks and stuff like that. But we need to focus also on the times, when it does say for better, for worse, for sick, for health, for rich or for poor. When it does say things like that, that's what true love is, because it's not all rainbows and sunshine and, what I'm saying, fairy tales and unicorns and stuff like that.
Not the unicorns.
Unicorns are in the Bible. But anyway, not really. Yeah, we'll get.
No, I'm just saying, like, rainbows and sunshines. Like, I'll never hear anybody say unicorn after that.
It's a thing. It's a thing. If you know, you know. It's a thing.
If you know, you know.
But
apparently, I didn't know.
But yeah, like, for me, when it comes to love, like, when I'm thinking about a life partner, when I'm thinking about somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with, love is important, but it's not as important to me as it is for other people. And what I mean by that
what is important to you, or what would you say surpasses
chemistry.
But
I would
you don't
say
think
chemistry.
Chemistry comes from love?
No. Nope. Chemistry, I don't think chemistry can come from love. I think chemistry is just a thing. Like, I just think that it's just personality based. Like, if you click, you click. If you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, love has nothing to do with y'all having the same sense of humor. Love has nothing to do with you guys liking the same type of sports, or, you know, like have the same interest in TV shows and things in music and you know, like, love ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Same thing when it comes to like a partnership. Like, when I think about, okay, here's a better question, and I want you to get back to it and answer. I'm more speaking on like, what do you think, or what things do you think will help a relationship last? What things, what qualities, what, you know, characteristics do you think will help make a relationship last? And when it comes to love, for me, I think love definitely is a factor in how a relationship, when you talk about those 50-year marriages and things like that, love is definitely at the center of that. However, that's not it. That's not all. You know what I mean?
You can't survive a 50-year marriage just based
just
on love.
off of love. And
Nah,
I think our generation, let me turn myself down. But I think our generation is hooked on that. Like, they're like, our relationships are just straight based off of just butterflies and love and this, and it's like, nah, shorty, you gotta wake up.
Like, to me, the one thing that I can think of right now, that's a really good question, but like, I would say is committing. Like, just you committing to that person and you waking up every day and choosing that person, it's what's gonna allow you to make it into the 50 years, regardless. But
I think that's love, though. I think that's love.
How do you feel like?
Because I think you choosing to not give up on somebody, that's love. That's love.
That's facts.
Sheesh.
That's facts. Yeah.
That's love.
I don't know. Oof.
Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah. Now you put it that way, but
because God, man, He loved us. He still love us. He ain't give up on us.
He ain't give up
on us. He's faithful. He remains faithful.
Regardless, that's
like,
a fact.
That's
regardless
love.
of who, like, how we are, us true, like, He gave us a choice and He gave us an opportunity to choose to be with, like, to choose to have a relationship with Him or not. Yeah. And He still loves us regardless of whether we wake up every day and choose Him or we don't. So
yeah, that's love. But but aside from that, like, you know, I think a lot of things that will communication is what, that's not love. Communication is a skill. In order for your relationship to be long lasting, I think you have to have a lot of communication.
Like, when you come into that, though, it's like communication. It's like, you say that, like, that's a skill. But would you say loyalty is a skill, or would you say loyalty uproots from love? Like, there's different ways, like, there's different things that are, like, I wouldn't say loyalty is a skill, but loyalty is something that
I would say loyalty stems from love. Yeah.
But wouldn't you say communication stems from love as well?
Nah. Communication is a skill.
Because, all right, so let's say, for example, you weren't really good with communication because, you know, let's say childhood trauma or whatever the case is. I can either choose to be the way I am, or I can love you enough, I can love you enough to want to change my ways so that I can work on communicating better. I can go to therapy to heal from my childhood trauma so that I can be able to come to you and communicate, but also understand your perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like how we were talking about in class, where it's like, what are some things that you can deal with from your partner that you know that they're never going to change, but that you're still willing to commit to that person. So it's like, some people would be okay with, I don't know who could possibly be that person, but some people could be okay with someone never changing the way they communicate.
I mean, yeah, you would be an idiot, but yeah,
definitely, yeah. No, I'm not. To each his own. Like that's one thing that has become major for me. But it's like I feel like everything roots from love. So it's like when you put it that way,
yeah,
like love is your foundation. But I feel like everything that we request that comes out,
yeah,
it's like basically me learning my partner and knowing the things that he likes, and because I love him so much, I want to work on those things because I know those are things that he sees that he loves me enough to tell me you're lacking in this area. And because I love you and because I want to spend the rest of my life with you, I'm going to work on those things.
Well, when you put it like that, then I think it all just depends on your purpose. Yo, I'm like, the peas are crazy. I'm gonna have to put a pop filter on this.
Peeper, Piper.
Right. Like, yo, but yeah, this is crazy. But I think when you put it that way, it all depends on like it all depends on where is that being rooted from. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that is because when I communicate at my job, I don't love my boss.
But we're not talking about the job right now. We're talking about a relationship.
Right. Okay, but
that's a profession. That's a career. That's where you make your money.
Yeah,
so
but
you're
that's
gonna come
also
in there
a
with
skill,
the utmost.
though.
That's a skill, yes. But how do I put it?
I see. You get what
You
I'm
love your job, though, right?
No, I don't. I don't love my job. No, I do not. Let me look into the camera. No, I don't. I don't love my job.
Beep, 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 beep.
So
that's what it's gonna sound like when we post this up.
Yeah, but nah, but not nothing. There's nothing wrong with my job. Hold on, let me get that. Let me get Eric. There's nothing wrong with my job. Like I like it. But you know, I love teaching. That's what I love. But anyway, getting back to this, I guess that's the perspective that I'm looking at it from. It's just a matter of like communication. To me, I just view communication as a skill. Like, okay, for instance, like you're in a relationship, but you're not used to telling your significant others from your past relationships, like, what do you do? Like when you go out and stuff like that, like, you know, and then you get into a new relationship and then that person is like, yo, you need to update me and let me know where you're going because I want to make sure you're safe and this, that, and the third. If you truly care about that person and you love them, then you'll switch and you'll make the change and you'll communicate better with them. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I feel as though you're just honing a skill. You're just sharpening your iron. You know what I mean? Now you're doing it out of love. So that makes sense. But like, if somebody automatically came in with great communication right off the bat in your relationship, that doesn't mean that they love you. That just means that they're a great communicator. So for me, when you put it that way, it all comes from what's the motive behind it. And are you being a great communicator because you're trying to make an effort because you love somebody, or are you just a great communicator?
But all right, so like when it comes to that example that you just gave, though, you can be a great communicator if you're like, you know, I don't know, a podcast person or just a great communicator in general, because like that's just who you are. But now, like the example that you gave, where it's like little information like that, like, hey, you know, it's not me wanting to know, like, you don't need to send me your location or whatever the case is. I just want to know that, you know, you made it to your destination, you're safe.
Yeah.
You know, you're around people that you can trust that are not going to cross, like whatever, just communicating more on things like that you probably didn't have to do with your previous relationship.
Yeah.
That like changes it though, because that person could be a good communicator, but what if they don't do that part where they're good at communicating when it comes to arguments or whatever the case is, but you love this partner, like you love your significant other enough to the point where you're learning the things that they like or the things that make it easier for them or easier to understand them, like you're reading them, you're allowing them to communicate, hey, you know, this is what I need. So you're good at communicating, but are you choosing to, you know, also learn different ways to communicate in your relationship? That comes from love. That's what I'm saying. So you could be a great communicator, But like, I don't want to communicate. He's just good at communicating when it comes to being in a group of people. But when it's just me and him, he can't communicate well.
And that's why I think it's a skill. That's why I don't. Again, like for me, it all just comes out of purpose. It all comes out of purpose, and I think so. That's why I think no matter what in a relationship, you're going to have love. You're going to have to have it. Like yes. It's a given. Like you can't not have love. But at the same time, for me, and from my own perspective, or rather, not from my own perspective, sorry, but just from like things that I look for, it's just a matter of like love has to be the center. It has to be the focus. It has to be the focal point. Of course, God, of course. Like that's number one.
That's number one, yeah. No unequally yoked over here.
Yeah, no. And then love. But then but not for nothing, once you put that to the side, like, you know, I really value partnership. I think that that's a key. And that's why I said chemistry, because chemistry is all about how well you can coexist. Yeah, like I don't see it working. You know what I mean? Like you have your thing, I got my thing, and then that's just what it is. So that's why I feel as though like when it comes to relationships, like, you know, you can love somebody to death, but sometimes that's just not. Love isn't enough. Love is the focal point. It's the main thing. It's the center. But is it enough to last 50 years, 60-year marriage? Maybe. Not. Maybe for some people.
I feel like at that point, is it a marriage or is it a contract?
Sometimes it was a contract, and back in the day. See, and that's why it brought me to that point of like women's equality killed marriage, because back then women, a lot of times, majority of the time, they relied on men. It was a patriarchy, so they relied on men.
But that's the thing, though. If you weren't married, like, all right, you were either a virgin and you were very valuable because you were single, a virgin, never touched, like you were top tier.
Facts.
Or if you were a widow, you were taken care of because obviously, you know, you lost your husband. Facts. You know, especially like we've even talked about this before, how much like the Bible emphasizes about taking care of, you know, widows and orphans.
And the orphans, yeah.
So you being at a certain age, and let's say you lose your virginity, you're looked down upon because you're not married and you're no longer a virgin.
Yeah.
Especially in the Bible times where women weren't allowed to be who we are today. You wouldn't see a business owner. You wouldn't see,
That's not true.
Business owner, farms. Okay, yes.
That's not true.
You definitely bring
Go to Proverbs 31.
Yes.
Go to Proverbs 31.
She definitely had her
field. A business owner.
Yes. Okay.
Facts.
But they weren't. Okay, so men were top tier though.
Yeah.
Like men were everything. For you to be married, like you had your husband, that's what also put you up there. That was a status. That was your status. Like that put you up there. So you needed that. Like, and that's where, you know, I feel like it kind of brings up like it was a contract because the husband needed someone to have his children, for him to come home to a clean house while he was out working, to come to a home cooked meal.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was raised in that sense as well, where like I wasn't raised in the Bible times because I was still raised like, nah, you know, you should still go out, have your money, like still work, do something for yourself. You don't want to just depend on a man because like, excuse me.
That's crazy. You just like, oh my.
No, and it's like, it's the way I was raised because not for nothing, the way I was raised, it was like, yo, your man could up and leave you and then you stuck with nothing. But in the Bible times, like, did that ever happen, honestly? That was a good question.
I mean, yeah, because I think there was somewhere in the Levitical law where it said...
but they all became your concubines. Like, those all became, like, your wives and concubines. Yeah, so it's not like you never stopped paying and taking care of your wife. It's just you added multiple wives.
If a man... Men could divorce women. Women couldn't divorce men. Men could divorce women. Or it might have been on, like, some special grounds where if the man had cheated or I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it on some like? But the man could divorce you for no reason, like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The men could just say, "I don't. You're divorced. I don't want to be with you no more." Back then, yeah.
Yeah, because that puts it, because it's like they leave you. What are you doing for your, what? And I feel like that's where, as the generations went on, like that's where it brought, like, it put even like these peas. It put like our like parents and stuff like that to like put that into our heads, where it's like you want to take care of your man, because I was raised in a sense of like cooking, taking care of the house, but also having my own.
That, I feel like that's perfect.
But that's important. That's what I'm saying, because
but
generation, like the years have gone by, it's a different generation, different mindsets. Men look at women differently. Women are exposing themselves more openly. Men are, I don't know, like, attracted to like, new things, and just things change in general. So you always want to, even a man himself, like, he's not always gonna put all of it to, like, he's gonna have like his personal savings, because he never knows what if his wife turns around and cheats, and now, like, you put everything into the marriage, and now you got to split everything that you worked hard for over the years, 50-50 to a woman that just played you for the last 6 months or whatever the case is, and that's why you guys are getting divorced. So I feel like that's smart in both men and women. Like, when it comes to marriage, like, I've never been the type to, we join in all our bank accounts, and nah, you in your lane and I'm in mine. We could share a little.
You're not joining no bank account.
We're not joining squat. Well, what we doing is, I'm gonna have my own. You gonna have your own. We gonna have a little third one that's gonna be in the cut for
What's the third one for?
For the kids.
I'm crying.
For the kids.
I mean, hey.
Because at the end of the day, the kids are both like. As long as
so who's paying what?
Who's paying what?
Yeah, who's paying what?
Oh, the husband pays all the major bills. The wife pays all the minor bills.
You see how that works? That's wild.
Okay. But in my perspective, though, like, me being who I am, and I've always said this, like, it's not even.
So if I want a sandwich, I better have my sandwich.
But let's be honest.
I want my toes licked. I want my toes rubbed. I need a bubble bath. Yeah, facts.
Relax.
Okay, listen.
Let me say something, though.
All right.
If you want that, like, if you want your husband to take care of all the major bills, take care of you and the kids, you want to be a stay-at-home wife, you have to have responsibilities. Now, me personally, I don't want to be a stay-at-home wife. I'm going to be home until my kid go to school. Yeah. Once my kid go to school, I'm going back to chasing the bag. I do not like to be in the house. If anybody knows me, if I'm in the house, I'm doing something in the house. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm moving something around, I'm rearranging. Like, I got to be doing something. I just can't be. But obviously, when you have kids, that's what you're going to be doing 95% of the time. You barely gonna sit down. The kid's napping, you up either trying to cook, trying to clean up, trying to do laundry. It's rare that you even get to nap when your kid naps, especially if you have 2 or 3 of them. Like, one's sleeping, but you got 2 other ones running around. So you're really never gonna sit down. But once they go to school, like, all right, I could go back to work, even if it's part-time, even if it's 6 hours, whatever the case is. Yeah. That's just who I am. But that's what I'm saying. If you want your man to fully focus on his career, fully focus on making the money, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, taking care of you, then you also have to submit as a wife. Because it's 100 and 100. It's not even 50. It's like, my man coming home and he got a home cooked meal. He got his clothes laid out. Or, you don't even have to pick his clothes out. He could go in his closet, but his closet is organized that he can grab whatever he want in the morning for work. Yeah. His lunch is right there ready for him to just grab and go. Like, the house is clean. Yeah, you got kids, so your house ain't never going to be spotless clean where he's probably going to see some toys when he come home. Yeah. But that bathroom is not dirty. The bed is made every day. Like, it's just... And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just the things that your husband needs.
But the problem...
Some men can be okay with, you not cooking every day. Yeah. But he works this high position job and he does need his clothes ironed. It's you being able to, like, I always looked at it in a way of, if I want my husband to provide for me and my kids in the house, I'm going to take off as much weight from his shoulders as I can, so that his focus can be work, and when he gets off of work is come home and be able to, decompress, spend time with the kids.
You can't have that mindset when you bumping city girls every day.
I don't bump city girls, so that's me.
But I'm just saying. So this is what I'm. But listen to what I'm saying, though. Okay.
Some women. I'm not saying all. Some women can bump city girls, and still come home and still cook a home cooked meal for their man. I'm gonna just put that out there.
I understand that.
Some can and some can't.
Music is a whole different conversation. The reason why I brought that up is because the point I was trying to get at is women, our generation, and this is for men and women, our generation, they want things from the opposite sex or their partners without sacrifice, without giving up something themselves. Love is sacrifice. That's what love is. Love ultimately is sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Love is giving up things that you normally don't like. Love is giving up things that you like in order to please the other person or in order to make their lives easier and things like that. I say that to say there's a lot of majority of females out here. They want a provider. They want a protector. They want someone to take care of their household and get the bag and bring home the bacon and take care of the kids and take care of them and bring them on shopping sprees and do their nails and their hair, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, shorty, you don't even know how to make a TV dinner. Like, when's the last time you rubbed that man back? When's the last time, you know what I'm saying, you made him a meal? When's the last time you did this for him? When's the last time, you know what I mean, you laid his clothes out, ironed his clothes?
But that's why
you know what I'm saying, you did this, you told him that he was amazing. Nah, like everything is self-centered now. Everything is self-centered.
That's what I'm saying though, like it takes
and the same thing with men.
Because men want, they want the cooker and the cleaner and the one that takes care of the children and still goes back to work. But
and they don't want to give.
They want to go 50-50 and they want you to pay the rent with them. Like they want you to go out to dinner and you paying the bill. Y'all going on vacation? Let me shut up. You pay for the vacation. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's not 50-50. It's 100 and 100. It's the husband being a provider and the wife being submitting to the provider. And you guys are helping each other out because at the end of the day, it's helping. You guys are a team. You guys become one. Like when it's a marriage, like I'm here to help you. You're here to help me because you taking care of the house, but you coming home to the house as well.
Exactly.
So like you coming, but you coming home to the house. I pay for the house.
You take care of the house. I take care of
the house.
I bring home. Saying. I bring home the food. You cook the food. Me, that's chemistry. That's chemistry to me.
That's a balance. Because here's the money, you do the grocery shopping. Here's the money, go pay because sometimes it's even like, here's the money. I don't have time right now because I got to go to work.
Right.
You go and pay the bills.
Right.
You go and do the grocery shopping. You run the errands.
Right.
You go get the car detailed or whatever the case is.
And for me though, because keep in mind, this isn't going to be every relationship. The relationship we're talking about, that's not going to be every relationship.
Oh, no, it's
in
not.
no way, shape, or form am I saying that everybody's relationship needs to be the traditional relationship where it's the housewife and that's not what I'm saying.
A lawyer married to a doctor and they're both working 24/7 and they got a nanny that does everything for them.
But the thing is, they agreed to those terms and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. That's the chemistry. That's the chemistry and the communication. Those two things. What we just said, that scenario has nothing to do with love. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with love. That's two people that communicated to each other and said that in order for us to be together and to make this relationship last, this is what we're going to do. I want to have a nanny take care of our kids. Do you agree? Yes, I agree. Boom. There you go. You dig what I'm saying?
Shorty's voice?
Like that was Shorty's voice. My thing is, okay, cool. All right. I may potentially... Yo, what's good with this mic, bruh?
Potentially.
I may potentially want you to be my wife. do you have any plans of going back to school and getting a degree? Mm-hmm. Yes, I do have plans of going to school and getting a degree. Okay, cool. How long do you? What kind of degree do you want? How long is it going to take? Da, 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 da. What's the plan for if we have kids and you do want to go to school? Mm-hmm. Do you want to put them in daycare while you go to school? Do you want to take care of the kids on your own? I don't want a nanny. I don't want somebody taking care of my kids for the first 1 to 4 years. Are you okay with? You get what I'm saying? All of that is communication.
It's communication, though.
That's
not. But the whole thing about that is like that's all stuff that you want to talk about prior to you being married.
Facts.
So it's like, let's put this out here now, so that once we're married, we're not having these questions when you already 6 months pregnant.
But you know what, though?
Or when you decide to, because
we're not dating to get married. We're dating to have a good time. We're just dating
just to have a good time, and you don't even look at it for marriage anymore, and that's facts. Like Hold up. Highly recommend for you guys to go out here and read this book, because listen, all the cameras, y'all all see it, all of y'all, please go out and read this book, because honestly, this is free advertisement. I'm not getting paid for this.
Dr. Miles Monroe, shout out to him, rest in peace.
Shout out to him. Like, that book, it speaks facts.
Yeah, it does.
I don't even want to get into it because I want y'all to read it for yourselves, and then we could probably do like a little.
Shout out to Chelsea too.
Yeah, shout out to Chelsea for putting this on.
We love you,
because we've been out here telling everybody about this book, because this book definitely. It just reminds you of how important dating is. Like, dating is not... Yes, dating is getting to know your partner, the things that they like, the things that they don't like, you learning them, things that you're willing to deal with and not deal with. But you also don't want to wait until the engagement period to be talking about all of these things.
Yeah, no.
Like, bro, I don't want dating to just be, what is your perspective on aliens and unicorns and the universe? No, like, I want dating to be, what is your perspective on, like, first of all, of course, your foundation, your relationship with God.
Yeah, spirituality.
Yes, that is number one. But it's also, how do you want to raise our kids? How many kids do you want? Do you want to go back to school? Mm-hmm. What career do you want to, like, what career do you want right now? Yeah. Do you feel like it's going to change? Is it something steady? Is it something that you're going to be bouncing back and forth to school?
Right.
Because sometimes it could be you started right now and 2 years later your job wants you to go back to school.
Yeah.
It's just all things that we have to be willing to accept, because that's one of the most important things when it comes to marriage. You're marrying somebody that you know right now, but throughout the years, people change. Things are going to happen. Health, just career changes, job losses of loved ones. Yeah. So it's also like you're marrying into the unknown. But the things that you can know and the things that you need to know, it should be discussed while you guys are dating.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was good. I'm glad that book was just randomly chilling there, because it definitely.
You didn't plant that there?
I definitely did not put that there.
I feel like you did.
Nah, because that book's been there for the last 2 days.
I'm dead.
So yeah, it definitely belongs over here.
It was waiting on you.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, I think more marriages, I think more relationships will last longer if how do I want to put this? I think more relationships would last longer if there was less emphasis on love and more emphasis on cohabitation. Like, not even cohabitation, but
everything.
I said cohabitation. I meant cohabitation.
And yo, I'm saying, oh my just God,
I'm looking very uneducated right now. I'm sorry. Cohabiting. I don't know the word. I don't know the terms.
Coexisting in the same house. Or
there you go. There you go.
There we go. Let's just.
Y'all know what I was trying to say.
Coexisting.
Yeah. Like, I think it would be more of that. I think if two individuals come together with a plan of first. You do have to date, because you got to figure out if you like this person or not.
Yeah, because not for nothing. Like, you're saying, you're here saying, like, don't just focus on love. My whole thing is, I'm going to focus on love because I'm not marrying somebody I don't love. That's the start.
Yeah, because like, then that's a contract agreement.
Yeah, that's a contract, and I'm not living for a contract. Like, I'm not trying to lay next to you and be in disgust.
All right, perfect example. Jacob with Leah and Rachel.
He wanted his Rachel, bro, and he worked 14
he wanted
years for his Rachel.
Why? Because he loved Rachel. He didn't love Leah.
Exactly.
Leah was an agreement. That was a contract agreement.
That was
that
was a one-end agreement because he never agreed to marry the first one first. He said, "I'm gonna work 7 years for my Rachel," and he had to add another 7 years for
Leah.
Well, yeah, he said 7 years for Rachel and ended up getting Leah and having to work another 7 years just to get Rachel. First of all, that's love. You done busted yourself.
He got Rachel and then worked 7 years.
Well, yeah, but
he still had to work the 7 years.
Had to work the 7 years.
So I get what you're
that's what I'm saying, though. You have to have loved this girl for you to bust your behind for 14 years just for a shorty. Mind you, you're Jacob. Like, you could have got whoever you wanted.
That's love.
That's love. Yeah.
Leah was just like, all right, well,
but
I just
he got stuck with her, and you know,
whatever. I guess.
But then it's like, how did she feel about that?
She was out here flaunting. They was mad at each other. Like what? Like, bruh.
Yeah, she was flaunting and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. As a female, I'm gonna be like, yo, like, you don't even want me, bro. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no.
But it's like, at that time, did women really have a choice? You see the different mindset.
Yeah.
Nah, she was a younger child. She was the youngest or the oldest.
Leah was the oldest.
Yeah, so the oldest had to get married first. Yeah, so that's what it was. Which, that's a crazy rule. Like, the oldest one got to get married first. If not, what if my older sister don't get married for another 40 years? Bro, that means I got to be thugging it around here. Nah, honey, I already done met my husband, and I got to wait for you.
Back then, y'all probably both got married to the same person at the same time.
Nah, that's crazy.
If that's the case,
that's why.
Because it was, man, I'm telling you, providing protection, you know. And now women get jobs. They make don't quote me on this because I know the feminists going to kill me, but women are having opportunities where they could make just as much money as men. Mm-hmm. They're not relying on men as much, which is causing them to, the economy is causing us to focus more on love because it's giving women the ability to be like, you ain't got to worry about a man to provide for you. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to worry about a man to protect you. So all you
think about is just the fairy tale part about it, and it's just love. And can he give me the butterflies, and can he do the Rumpty-Dum good enough to satisfy me? Like, all of that stuff. You don't really think about, you know, the future and providing and having kids together and, like you said, coexisting under the same roof.
This guy,
I could love you to death, but I can't live with you if you out here leaving your trails of clothes everywhere.
Right, like this guy's amazing. He makes me laugh so much, but he's irresponsible. He doesn't pay his bills. I love
this person, but I can't trust him when he walks out the door.
But when we're together, he makes me laugh, and he's the greatest guy. He's the greatest,
and he watches love rom-coms with me, and he eats my favorite junk food with me. Like,
and he buys me food, and he takes me out, but he cheating with 5 other girls on the side.
Exactly. He walk outside, and
like
there's already a shorty down the street picking him up.
Not even to that extreme. Let's just say, you know, this guy is a great guy. You know.
But he don't brush his teeth.
Nah, right? Oh Lord, not the brushing his teeth. Oh God, brush your teeth, bro. No, not that. Oh my gosh,
I had to make it small.
Yeah, it be like that, but it be like that
but
though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But like, it could be as simple as, like, you know, not for nothing, not trying to be petty, but like, yo, this guy is a great guy, but he doesn't have a car. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So now you looking at him like, oh man, he's not reliable.
Or he don't got a job.
Or he can't keep a job. He's a great guy. He loves me to death.
But
you know,
he's losing his job every 2 months. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's important, bro. That stuff is important. It's important. Not just love. That's important. Like, shorty, like, I love you to death. Like, we could go to the basketball game and we like sports together and this, that, and the third. But what's your plan for the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? Mm-hmm. And then it'd be crickets. And then, like,
It's like, what do you want to do for yourself?
Yeah, like, you don't have
we good today. We good for the next 3 weeks. We good for the next month.
Right.
But what is your plans on buying a house for like in 5 years? What's your plan on how do you want to raise your children?
Right.
What is your plan? Or do you plan on going back to school? Like, and a lot of people, that's the thing though. I feel like this generation now really is just living in the moment and not really thinking about the future as much.
Man, I was just talking to my mama about that earlier today. Don't you get me started.
Really, no, and
Don't
it's
you get
true.
me started.
It's true because I literally was just having this conversation at work where I was like, yo, like I literally, I don't know what it was. I don't want to get too much into detail with like work and stuff like that, but I don't know if it was part of like the interview or something. And I just had asked the person like, where do you see yourself 3 years from now? Do you like, some people see themselves out of Allentown, like, and that could be like their very first step. I'm not planning nothing else. My goal right now, I'm working towards moving out of Allentown. That's a goal. Though. You're working towards something. You don't know where you're gonna go after, but you know that your goal is to move out of Allentown. And it's like how I told them, your goal for the next 3 years could be something, just one thing. It doesn't have to be, oh, I want the latest Mercedes-Benz. I want the crib. I want to be able to have one kid. I want to be married by this time. I want to be able to have these 5 sets of Louis Vuitton. No, you don't have to have all of this, like all 5 different things. Your goal, and not for nothing, some people can't even think to 5 years. Just what is your goal for the next year?
Yeah.
What position are you putting yourself in to just grow within the next year so that you can think about maybe the 3-year plan or the 5-year plan?
Yeah.
You know, maybe just this year I'm working on my credit. All right, boom. Your credit is going to lead you into owning your house,
right?
If you want to open a business, whatever the case is, but you're working towards something.
Yeah.
And I feel like our generation right now is just living the moment, and this all became a thing, and I started hearing more about it after COVID, where it's like, because everything shut down and the world stopped and all of this and that, people are just living for today and they're just focusing on today. And that's okay, because you want to be able to make it through today before you even think about tomorrow. The Bible clearly says it, like, today's problems are enough for today. Don't worry about tomorrow. But
Facts.
You also want to be working towards something. It's not stressing yourself out. Like, I'm not stressing 5 years from now, what if I lose my job?
Yeah.
No, I'm putting myself in a position now so that 5 years from now, I'm not losing that.
Right.
So for example, my goal right now is I'm working towards being a supervisor, because that's the position that got presented to me.
Yeah.
So what am I striving for the next couple of months until I'm fully in the position? I'm working towards that. I'm researching it. I'm gaining knowledge from other supervisors. Like, I'm just putting myself up there so that once I do get the position, now I can move. Okay, I got the position. I'm making this much more money now. Now where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Okay, now we start with the same. Like, you just have to have a plan. It's not about putting yourself in a position where you're just stressed out trying to pull your hair out because you don't know where you're going to be 5 years from now. Because you might have a plan, but the Lord determines your steps.
Yeah.
That's in the Bible. So it's like, you could build a plan, but you could build the plan, but God's going to lead you where you got to go.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, it's that you're working for something, and you're working for something that's going to put you and your children in a better position for the future.
Facts. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Talk about it. Ooh, we spitting the Bible facts.
Listen, man, we about to attack all these verses in here.
Yes, we will.
But
I don't know exactly where to find them, but as my pastor says, Google it.
Facts, man. But nah, that's just what it is, man. So I think it should just be, and we're gonna close this out, but it should be, I think it should just be a balance of both. Not a balance of both. Not like 50-50. I definitely think like love should be at least 75. Definitely more on the love side.
Your foundation.
Facts, God and love should
and
definitely.
Everything is gonna uproot out of that. That is your seed. You
Right.
water that love and you water that relationship with God, that trust, that loyalty, that coexistence. Everything uproots from that.
It all depends on the person though, and the reason why I say that is because two things. Hear me out. Two things. Number one, when you meet the right person, they can have such an influence on you that they can change the way you are. And you can love them from the beginning. You can love them so much. You start dating somebody and you really love them. You can love them so much that you start changing your own ways. You used to never make up your bed. And then now, because you love them and
you make the bed.
I'm telling you, and they got you in the habit. Now every day you want to make that bed. Every day you cleaning up because you like, man, I already know, man, when she come in, she works so hard and she be cleaning so much. I don't want to disappoint her. I don't want to mess up her stuff. So I'm going to clean too. You used to be dirty. You used to never want clean. Now all of a sudden you clean it. Same thing with my friend. I was talking to him yesterday. And he was like, yo, man, I used to be so irresponsible. And the minute I had my daughter, like my life changed. And became
that's a switch
and
that
that's
sometimes
love,
flips.
bro.
Sometimes it flips and sometimes it doesn't for parents.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like that first love of just knowing, like, bro, I made this child. I gotta raise this child. Like, that's genuine love. Like, you created this person. You want the best for this person. That's what's pushing you for, having the better job, just changing who you are. You want to change your ways. You want to be a better person because you have someone looking up
and it's like
at you. And that's the same thing in a relationship. Like, you choosing to be a better person because you love this person so much. It's like, dang, like you said with the cleaning, it's like, it's also with, communication. It's also with, how else? With trust.
Yeah.
You might have been somebody where you weren't sneaking around and doing anything, but just the way that you moved made it seem like, yo, can this person trust me? Because I'm out at 2-3 in the morning and I'm not checking in, or just things like that, where it's like, or just even learning, like pushing that person to even learn like the traumas that were implanted in them.
Yeah.
Like some relationships, like you love that person enough, like, or you love that person so much that you're going to therapy because you want to be a better version of yourself, because you want to have a better relationship. You want to be able, you can't do it on your own, but you're looking for help. Like, you're seeking a mentor, you're seeking a therapist because you want what's best for your relationship. And it might not always be the best. It might not be you, and it's not that it will not be a perfect relationship, but you're both putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, putting in that love and that foundation, and above all, putting God first. Like, whenever things are rocky, it's putting God first.
Yeah.
Are you getting on your knees, or are you turning around, hopping in your car and being out for till 2-3 in the morning? Like, your perspectives just change, especially when you love that person and it's love from the Bible. It's love from God.
Look,
not just love from Love Scars or whatever that Netflix show that's all this, I don't know what's it called, but
what's the verse that the verse that we're on right now?
We gonna end it with this with 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4. Love is patient.
No, I wasn't.
No?
I wasn't going in that direction.
I was going in that direction.
I was going more so. I think it's Ephesians chapter 5 verse 17.
I got you right now. 5:17.
Ephesians 5:17.
Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to. No. Is
that what that says?
Yeah.
Look, yo, that was for somebody, because that was for somebody.
Because I got it highlighted. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. This says, don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. Don't be drunk with wine, because that will ruin your life. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit. I don't know who that for, but that is for you. May the Lord bless you. That was Ephesians 5:17 and 18.
That was for somebody battling with wine or alcohol right now.
May the Lord be with you.
But so the verse that I was talking about, though, it talks about how getting rid of your old life, because you have been born, you died with Christ. Your old life died with Christ when he died on the cross, and you were born again into a new life. And
Galatians 20:20, was it the verse of the day for today?
Nah, man, it's
good
the verse,
though.
It
says, my old self has been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who lives, but Christ lives in me. So I live in this earthly body, but trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me.
That's a good one. It's not that one, but it's the, I gotta look it up. It's the verse that we've been sitting on for a minute now with Love Reigns at the church. But
we're gonna tag it in the link below.
I say that just to say, and we'll close it. But I say that just to say, we should love Jesus. So when we were talking about the love just now with the kid, or with changing and going to therapy and stuff like that, that all stems from the love we have so much for a person that we don't want to let them down. You know what I mean? You don't want to let your kids down, so you man up and you step up to the plate to provide. You don't want to let your wife down. You don't want to let your husband down. And then we should get into that mode where we don't want to let Jesus down either. We don't want to let God down. So every time.
And that should be your main priority.
Word.
Because if you don't want to let God down, you don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to let the stranger down. You don't want to let the coworker down. You don't want to let the enemy down, like somebody that you don't even like.
What?
And that's the one thing I'm like learning right now and just really like focusing on. Yeah. It's like it's easy to love somebody that love you, but how easy it is to love an enemy, someone who doesn't like you, somebody who has crossed you, somebody who has hurt you. Like to love that person, like it's just something you gotta grow. Like you just grow into that.
That's the love that Jesus was talking about.
And that's yes he did.
What's love got to do with it, man?
Shout out to this. I feel like we should do an episode 2 on this. I really like this love topic.
Yeah, we're gonna stick on this. All right,
well,
we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. You know, thank you for tuning in. Not Another Podcast. Please definitely click that like and subscribe button. Put on that notification bell for all of the latest episodes. And if this is your first time rocking with us, then don't hesitate to go back onto any of the previous episodes that we've had in the catalog as well, man. We really do appreciate it. So until next time, love y'all. Peace.